a very good feeling knowing that I have the ability to sell my abilities to a company. And I don't know that I would find this in most other kind of jobs, but once you learn plumbing, plumbing will always take care of you because there will always be a need for plumbers. And it's not the easiest job. It's not the cleanest job. But dedication will make it up to you in the field.
We do want to give plenty of room underneath the sink so you can make your connections, for your faucet. Now the drain, there's going to be a code for that because there's tailpiece lengths that we have to abide by, and a tailpiece is the piece of pipe that goes from the drain, from the bottom of the sink down to the actual drain, and there's a length on that. And I don't know. We grew up with the Universal Plumbing Code, and they just changed it to the International, I think in 16 or something.
I thought they did that in 15, but
And that could be, but so a lot of this stuff has changed. But normally we stub our drains out at 18 to 21, depending on.
depends on what you're installing. If you're
Correct.
installing a pedestal sink, you have a certain depth in which you need to come out anyway. You need to know that ahead of time because your water lines actually come out close, within 4 inches of each other, instead of like this, which is 8 inches. So these are things you need to know. So
But you will need a clean out on there, so every sink has to have a clean out. I don't know if you're aware of that.
So
And-
we're gonna take this is gonna come up into the wall. We're gonna have vents outside up here. And then we're gonna come up out to the sink and do the P-trap for the sink.
Okay, are you gonna go with the Studer vent or?
mechanical air vent.
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna take it out, you don't need to take it outside.
They have to have
Yeah.
a vent box.
I don't know why we did, but Rick and I built one of these and they had us put that in and we vented it within the wall and then outside as well. Yeah. Is that just overkill?
Well, you could
can
have
bring
it
it up.
underneath the sink,
Oh,
so you don't need to penetrate the wall.
see.
Yeah, you can bring it up in the cabinet as long as you got room in it. The top of it has to stop so that you have enough room to actually replace that mechanical air vent because from time to time they will need to be replaced. So you got to have enough space to actually change it
Okay.
without cutting your piping.
Is that just unscrewing it and screwing it back on?
Screws back in.
But for like a pedestal sink, it looks kind of ugly if you leave it
pedestal
just
sink, you
standing
can't
out.
do
You
that.
gotta put it back behind.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it on a pedestal sink.
Yeah.
But you're talking about just a regular vanity. It's all gonna be hidden anyway, so you
Just a
just.
vanity where it's in a cabinet, yes, and a kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to do that to a pedestal sink.
So with all this PEX line, the crimp tool is everything that you guys are using now. Is that for
We
the
do
houses?
have them. However, we
don't
don't
use
prefer those. We use Uponor Wiersbo, and which you stretch it with a tool and you put it on the fitting as barbed so that it shrinks down, has a memory, and it shrinks down and locks onto it. And that's a really good connection.
They call it an expander, and we put a ring on it, plastic ring, expand it, slide the fitting in, and it will go back to its original state. The nice thing about that is you don't have to be in a wall trying to use the crimp tool.
Yeah,
Because that can be difficult.
and then clamp it and so. But it's similar to what you're saying because like all the stuff that not handyman but do-it-yourselfers DIYs. A lot of times we'll use like the shark bites that just it
Yeah,
plugs into that, and you guys don't like those
No, you don't want a shark bite.
because that could leak. Inside.
Eventually it will. It has an O-ring in it. They say 25 years, but we like to put them in for life,
Okay,
if
so
we
you're not
can.
worried about that with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we try to avoid shark bites. We do use them in a temporary situation, but we don't. Excuse me. one
And
second.
you got to use them in materials that are already existing if you're attaching to it. You don't want to take a chance of crimping it or trying to expand it because it could crack. In those cases, you can install them, but we don't give a warranty on that because we already know that shark bite fitting is eventually going to give up and start leaking because the O-ring will eventually relax and now you got a leak. So we try never to put them inside of a wall are in a structure where you can't actually get to it, such as a building with a solid ceiling, or, you know, somewhere where the water, where you can't get to it to actually change it. So we try to only do it if you can get to it. Such as under a mobile home, you can do that because you can get under there and change it. A house with a crawl space, you can get under there and replace it if you had to. But that's only when you have materials that you can't take the risk of if you're attaching to an old one. Some people don't want you repiping the whole house. We want to just repipe the kitchen. And you got to know at that point, okay, what fitting can we transition? So we tried to stay away from the shark bite business. I believe if they follow the codes and learn the codes first, and then follow them, and then get their technique down to where they are able to go to the property in which they're going to be working at, and they're able to actually perform every duty that they need to perform an adequate system. Once they have that in their training, they're going to have no trouble going out in the world and actually producing good work. And this work has to be acceptable by the you know, the powers to be. That, you know, all of the inspectors are going to need to see it, and if they can pull that off, they're going to be well taken care of, because won't be any issues with them getting employment.
So I have a question. What is the vents that you're talking about? What is that for?
Air. All drains will work efficiently when you can let air into the system. Okay. If you don't have that air able to get into your system, you're going to have drain issues. Sinks will drain very slowly, and eventually they'll stop. Bathtubs, showers, the whole thing. Every item in your house that water goes down through and through a drain needs to be vented.
So what does that mean?
It means that you have to have air out to the atmosphere. So as water runs down, it creates a vacuum.
Right.
And if it has nowhere to pull the air from, the water will slow down almost, and sometimes it'll stop.
But you're not talking about like actually cutting a hole into the pipe. So that's why I'm
No.
trying to understand.
The pipe will have to come up from here. You come up and you organize your drain. It's going to stub out of the wall for the sink.
You'll have a T.
And then you have the fitting for the clean out.
Okay.
And then it'll come over and go up, and it'll drill right out through the roof. So technically you go 12 inches above this roof. And if it's a parapet wall, it's got to go a foot above that parapet wall.
Gotcha.
And then you have a wide open vent to atmosphere.
So it's just a pipe that's just sitting there.
It is part
just
of
to provide the pressure,
for the vent, to just provide air,
the air. Okay.
airflow. Yes.
Okay.
So these will be one-way vents that let air in,
But
or
no
no
air
air out, so you don't get the gases of the sewer coming out.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
It's just basically a one-way valve. That's what it is.
And so we'll have to so the way they have it plumbed is we're going to go into the wall, and we're going to come up, we're going to tee out so that we can have the P-trap for the sink, and then we're going to take the vent all the way up here. And that's the only venting we're going to do for this unit. On the next unit, when we have the toilet and the sink and the shower, we'll have more vents.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because you have to have that, for that to drain, you have to have that air in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I obviously I don't know what I'm doing, so I can't picture it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's good, because you don't want to just loop it all together and think it's going to work, because
Right.
it's not going to.
Jordan had a question.
So for the P-trap, that is to let the pressure go, right? Then what is the P-trap for?
P-trap holds water after it drains, so that the sewer gases cannot come back into the structure.
Oh,
They call it a trap seal.
okay, we have that problem where I work because we get stinky smells coming from the sink because the dudes at Roto-Rooter didn't put a P-traps. They didn't put like lines out to the top or anything like that. So I'm like trying to figure out how I can fix that. But yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so everything in your home that has water running through it, more than likely has a trap that it has to pass through, which will, create a seal so no sewer gases come in.
Even your toilet, the water sitting in your toilet is a trap.
That's what a toilet is a big P-trap encased in glass, so you can go to the bathroom. That's what it's for. Yeah. exactly correct.
So that it doesn't get struck by drywall screws or anything.
Try to stay in the center if you can.
If you can, but the bang plates, those metal plates that
These.
go over that, those protect that. And they should be on both sides if you can, but.
Yeah, nail plates.
So is this the size that you guys use for piping? Because we
They're
have.
not. Those, I don't think those,
These are mobile home code.
yeah.
Oh.
These are mobile home, because this is a mobile home.
This is a mobile structure.
Yeah, so that's a mobile home code that they.
something bigger then?
They're 5 by 8 is what, right? Aren't they 5 inches by 8 inches?
Yeah, that's for anything large. Like drain pipes, vent pipes that you're running through the wall, you'd have to put that on. They don't want you being able to have the ability to actually put a nail or a screw into that pipe.
In case you miss the stud, you know, that the sheet rocker's missing the stud, they want us to protect the pipe on each side of that stud for an inch or two anyways.
So they're 8 inches by 5 inches wide. That's okay. That's good.
Yep, and they do that over the vents and the water
Okay.
and the drains.
So that's interesting. Okay.
I thought it was just for the active water, but that makes sense to have it for the vents and everything.
Right.
Well, sewer gases are very corrosive.
Right.
And over a period of time, if you have a nail in there, it'll actually dissolve that nail, and then presume you have an open hole in there. How are you ever going to know? When the smell comes in, you'll know.
Yeah, and that might be the problem with what you got going on where you work, is that it could be a vent that's causing that issue.
If it's an older building, it may have cast iron venting, in which case
Is it
Exactly what it is.
Oh.